In 2018's The Night Eats the World, the apocalypse arrives quietly. No explosions, no military collapse, no broadcast warnings. Just a man, a room, and the sudden absence of everything else. This isn't a zombie movie about surviving together. It's about surviving yourself, and that's what makes it perfect. The movie begins like a breakup story, not a horror film. Sam, a musician, visits his ex-girlfriend just to pick up some old tapes, small fragments of his life before the world changed. But Fanny's throwing a party in her Paris apartment, a crowded, drunken, no air conditioning party. She brushes him off again and again until she finally tells him to wait for her in the office. The man just wants to get his stuff and go, like, what do you want to talk about? But if he did that, we wouldn't have a movie, so The party rages on for a bit and suddenly we start to hear screaming and chaos. While Sam sleeps, the world ends. When he wakes up, the music stopped, the apartment's trashed with blood staining the walls, and outside, Paris has gone silent. What sets The Night Eats the World apart from every other zombie film is that it never shows us the fall. The apocalypse isn't a spectacle, it's an absence. The film begins after the noise, after the chaos, when all that's left is the echo of what used to be. When Sam opens the door, the nightmare officially begins. The first zombie Sam meets is Fanny herself, pale, blood-smeared, sprinting toward him in silence. He barely escapes, locking himself in her apartment, and he goes to peek out the window and watches another family try to flee. They unfortunately don't make it, and this kind of pissed me off, because they could have if the mom just got in the back seat with her kid. But it's whatever, I guess we needed the added burden of witnessing that. Sam understands what kind of apocalypse this is. Fast zombies, endless hordes, total silence. No cries, no moaning, just movement. But unlike most horror protagonists, Sam doesn't waste time panicking. The moment he realizes what's happened, he gets his shit together. Sam arms himself with a shotgun from a dead neighbor. He explores every apartment, marking the ones with zombies and strategically collecting food, water, and tools. He even comes up with the idea of making the windows dirty so he can mark the number of days it's been. He doesn't wait for rescue. He creates order in a dead world. And that's one of the film's quiet victories. It respects survival. Sam isn't lucky, he's competent. In a genre where survivors often stumble across chaos, The Night Eats the World gives us a man who immediately learns the new rules of existence. And he still begins to fall apart anyway. During one of his searches, Sam finds a zombified old man trapped inside the building's elevator. Sam could kill him, but instead he bonds the door shut and keeps him, naming him Alfred. Over time, Alfred becomes his only companion, a captive audience, a blank face that Sam projects his loneliness onto. He eats near him, talks to him, vents to him. Alfred becomes the mirror for Sam's crumbling mind. This relationship is both pathetic and deeply human. Sam's conversations with Alfred reveal the need to be heard, even when no one's really listening. The film turns this grotesque companionship into something almost tender, the living talking to the dead just to stay alive himself. And it's here that the film's title starts to make sense. The night, the silence, the loneliness is eating the world, one mind at a time. But even the most capable survivor can't survive being alone. As weeks turn to months, Sam's survival routines evolve into obsessions. He plays music to keep rhythm in his life, improvising beats to fill the void. But every sound echoes too loudly in the silence. The apartment itself genuinely feels like a tomb, but Sam notices something while playing paintball with the zombies. When Sam sees a stray cat moving freely among the undead, he loses it. He risks his life trying to catch it, and he comes very close to dying, getting chased through the streets by the silent horde. Now, I know this is a stupid thing to do, but we have to understand the man is by himself in a horribly different world and is going through severe social isolation, which does have its negative effects on the mental state. He just wants something living to talk to. Later, when he sees the cat sitting beside a zombie as if it's unbothered, he shoots it in anger, not the zombie, the cat. It's an act of madness disguised as emotion, his humanity turning in on itself. Later on, the streets are cleared of infected and Sam leaves the building to find other survivors, but ultimately he changes his mind. And then there's the drumming scene. Sam sets up a full drum kit and begins pounding furiously, screaming into the silence. It's defiance and grief all at once. But the drums echo across Paris and the zombies come back. They flood the street, swarming beneath his balcony. The film never really shows him in panic. He just keeps playing because for that brief suicidal moment, the silence was gone. His acts of stupidity are really acts of survival, not physically but emotionally. The need to feel something becomes more dangerous than the undead themselves, and this is even more evident when he screams at Alfred.
I'm gonna get sick of all this and get the hell out of here. And you'll be left all alone like an asshole. Aren't you pissed that they just left you here? You and I are the same. We're alone.
Sometime later, Sam's isolation is rewritten by noise outside his door. Thanks to the nightmare he had the previous night, he fires through the door and hits someone. A woman who's actually human, alive, and bleeding pretty badly. Sam goes on to tend to her wounds, begging her not to leave him, and she actually manages to pull through. The next morning, she reveals her name is Sarah, and she's been surviving by moving across rooftops, using a rope and hook to cross from building to building. For the first time in the film, we get a feeling of hope. They play music together. Sam's talking about her to Alfred, but then she urges him to leave, warning that if he stays, he'll either die or go insane. But Sam argues differently. He's anchored to this building, to his routines and Alfred. She goes back inside, and then Sam remembers she actually died the night she showed up. He finds her lifeless body in the same room where he shot her. Everything they shared, their conversations, her encouragement, her presence, was all just in his head. It's a brutal revelation, and it redefines the entire story. Sarah wasn't a visitor. She was the last piece of his sanity, the final illusion that he wasn't completely alone. This twist transforms the movie from a survival horror into a psychological tragedy, because now survival means absolutely nothing. After having a memorial for Sarah, Sam decides to finally leave. He burns his old music tapes, cutting the final connection to his past and the apartment. But the fire sets off the building's alarm, drawing the zombies, and a horde breaks its way into the apartments. This scene genuinely reminds me of World War Z, the way they just bust through the door like that. It's crazy. As the apartment fills with smoke and chaos, Sam fights his way through, killing several zombies and even using the environment as a means to do it. Eventually, he makes it onto the rooftop. Using Sarah's rope and hook, he swings across the street to the next building. Yeah, he definitely got some brain damage. For the first time, he's outside the cage he built for himself. He climbs to the top, stares across the Paris skyline, and hears a possible indication of other survivors. The movie ends there, perfectly ambiguous. Did he finally escape? Did he imagine the sound? Honestly, what really matters is that for the first time, he's chosen life, even if it's probably waiting to devour him. Every great zombie film has a moment that defines its soul. For The Night Eats the World, it's when Sam pounds his drums and the undead flood back to him. That scene is the entire movie in miniature. The story of a man so desperate to feel alive that he wakes the dead just to hear them move. The drums aren't rebellion, they're grief. Every strike echoes with loss. The people are gone, the world is gone, and the slow death of silence is eating his mind. The brilliance of The Night Eats the World is that it never uses fear as a spectacle. It uses it as reflection. In other films, noise attracts death, but here, silence is death. And when Sam makes noise again, it's not a mistake. It's his final attempt to prove he still exists. This movie takes everything that defines the genre, survival, fear, loneliness, and strips away the noise until only truth remains. Most zombie movies are about humanity fighting extinction, but this one's about what happens after extinction, when the fight's over and all that's left is the echo of who you used to be. Sam is one of the most effective survivors we've ever seen. Smart, resourceful, and disciplined, but his downfall proves that survival skills don't matter when the enemy is solitude. His relationship with Alfred becomes a haunting symbol of the truth, a man talking to death just to keep from becoming it. His so-called mistakes, chasing a cat, playing the drums, aren't failures of logic. They're failures of loneliness. They're what makes him human. And at its core, the film's message is brutally simple. Survival isn't victory. It's just another kind of death. When Sam finally leaves the apartment, he's not escaping zombies. He's escaping himself. The silence has eaten the world, but he's not ready to let it finish the job. So he walks into the unknown, surrounded by the ghost of what once was. And for a moment, maybe just one, we hear life again. And that's why I believe The Night Eats the World is the greatest zombie movie of all time. But I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and consider subscribing. Until next time, keep watching the dark because it's definitely watching you.